Hello there guys, and welcome back to another epic Inexorable video. In this video we're taking a look at some mathematics, of course, using f of x notation. Okay, what's on the board guys? What's going on? Don't be afraid, it's not that scary. I'm going to break this down for you. I have written some functions on the board. We're going to talk about what a function is in just a moment. If it has blue brackets around it, it means you need to know about it at some point in the A level, and we will go through it. We have not done the vast majority of this. We have not done logarithms, inverse trig functions. We have not done reciprocals. We have not done reciprocal trig functions. We have not done, what else haven't we done? Exponentials, we have not done a lot of this, okay? Modulus of X. These are functions you probably would have never heard of. Some of them you maybe have heard of, but you don't know what they are. We haven't covered them. If they don't have square blue brackets around them, you do not need to know about them at all in any of the A level, at any point, okay? The only exception, I guess, is x to the x. You technically can get some questions on that, but seriously, do not worry about that. We will get to it when we get to it. Cosh x, forget it unless you're doing further maths, forget it. Lambert W function of x, forget about it. Just even if you're doing further maths, forget about it. It's not in there. 2 to the superpower of x, forget about it. We're seeing a pattern here. I just wrote those down for fun. I wrote them down for fun, guys, because it's fun to write random functions down on the whiteboard. Okay. But anyways, why have I done this? Why have I written stuff down? It's because I want to show you what is a function. Functions. What is this f of x notation? What's going on? Well, let's get straight into it and let's have a look. Okay guys, so we're going to start off by just explaining what f of x notation is, okay? F of x notation literally is just a way to abbreviate a function if it's maybe a bit long, or, I mean, for an exam, they just want to make sure that you know what it is. But normally it's to just abbreviate it if it's faster than writing out, or I guess it's to generalize as well. If you have formulas that involve f of x and you don't want to explicitly say what the function is, you might want to use f of x, which can then address any function. So what's a function? Why do I keep saying function? What is that? A function is literally just when we're doing something to an x. That's basically it. So for example, this function of x is take x, take some number, any of your choosing, and square it. So what we would say is, let's say we choose, I don't know, the number 3, okay? We would say that f of 3, if we're talking about, this is f of x, this top one here, f of 3 is equal to 3 squared, which is 9, okay? Why 3 squared? Because we've got an x squared there, okay? What about this second one? We haven't done exponentials, but we can still do this. Let's talk about this one now. For this one, f of, let's take, I don't know, 2. Actually, no, let's do 3 again. F of 3 is equal to 3. Now this time, we're not going to square it because we're not being told to square it. This time, we're going to raise it to the power of the number that we're talking about. We're talking about the number 3, so let's raise it to the power of 3. 3 to the power of 3 means 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Okay, let's try one more of these functions. Let's try this one here. F of x equals 1 divided by x. Okay. Let's choose the number 5. F of 5 for f of x equals 1 over x is 1 over 5. 1 over 5. Okay. So all we're doing is we're taking numbers. When we've got a definition of f of x, it will tell you in the question what f of x is. So it might ask you in an exam, find f of 5 given that f of x is equal to blah, blah, blah. Maybe f of x is equal to x squared. Maybe it's equal to x squared plus 1 and then take the square root of all of that. Maybe it's equal to just x. If f of x is equal to x, then it means f of any number is just that number. So f of 5 is just 5, if you have this function here. In this one, f of any number is 1 over that function, 1 over that number rather. So let's say f of 9 is 1 over 9, okay? I won't explain what all of these are, what they do, because again, you don't need to know some of them. But this is the general format of it. If you need to figure out, if you need to put a number in here, it literally just means whatever the definition of the function is, replace the number that we're talking about, replace the x with the number that we're talking about. It's not too difficult. So let's just jump into a question. Okay guys, we've got a question on the board. F of x is equal to x squared minus 4, find f of 8. Okay. All you've got to do, pause if you want to try this yourself, all you've got to do is we're going to say f of 8 is equal to, and now we're going to take this, and every time we see an x, luckily there's only one in this question, but normally it would just be any time, there could be multiple x's, could be x squared minus 4 plus x, you know. Anytime you see an x, replace that x with the number 8. So we're going to be doing 8, because that's where our x is, squared minus 4. That's literally it. And then just simplify that. So 8 squared is 64, minus 4, that's 60. So f of 8 is 60 in this question. Another thing that you need to know is it might ask you, find the values of x such that f of x equals 0. Okay, so for that, we know how to do it. This links into our work that we've been doing on quadratic equations, doesn't it? So let's use the same question, guys. Let's use the same question. If it says, this could be a question, find f of x equals 0. Find the values such that f of x is equal to 0. What does that mean? We're being told f of x is equal to x squared minus 4, so we can say x squared minus 4 is equal to 0, because f of x is x squared minus 4. Same thing. So how might we solve this problem, guys? I mean, you can just look at it and you can probably tell the answer. There's two ways to do it. You can either use the difference of two squares formula, so you can get x plus 2 times x minus 2 equals 0, which means that x is equal to 2 or minus 2. Or you can add a 4 to both sides. I don't need to, yeah, so add 4 to both sides, that's a 0. That's equal to 4. Take the square root. X is equal to plus or minus 2. We take the square root of a number. We can get the negative and the positive version of it out, because plus and minus 2 times by themselves to make the number 4. So plus and minus 2 is valid. Either way, you get the same answer. X equals 2, x equals minus 2. Therefore, if you've got a question like this and it said, find the values of x such that f of x equals 0, when f of x is x squared minus 4, the answers would be f of 2 equals 0 and f of minus 2 equals 0. Because if you put a 2 where you see an x, this will equal 0. If you put a minus 2 where you see an x, it will equal 0. So f of 2 and f of minus 2 are 0 in this question. You call these roots, okay? I'm going to write it down. You would call these the roots of the function, okay? That's just something that you need to know. These are the roots of the function. A question could equally say, find the roots of the function x squared minus 4. That means do this. That means find the values of x such that f of x equals 0, okay? That's it, that's all you need to do. So guys, if you want another video on this, please let me know. I will make one if needed. If not, we're going to move on. We're going to go on to sketching quadratic graphs, and that's going to be pretty cool, I think, in my opinion. That is basically it. As I say, if you would like me to elaborate on this whole thing a bit more, it's difficult to gauge whether or not this is a satisfactory explanation. Of course, I already know it. If you're looking at this still confused, please do not hesitate to put in the comments, by the way, mate, can you please do another video? I'm a bit lost still. That's totally fine. If not, we will move on. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.